Hippie in the city, organic.
Yes, hippie in the city. That is fire. That's a fire title.
Well, I had to keep my hippie Cali mentality in the city, you know?
In the city. And that's the perfect way to blend it, like hippie in the city.
Yeah, because it's like, I don't want to give up my sundresses and my tea and my meditation and my all this stuff.
Nope. Hippie in the city. Y'all heard it first. MVP.
She here.
Ellen. I call her Els. Nobody else can call her.
I love that you call me Els. I truly do. It is like, you call me that from day one. Yes. And I was like,
he gave me a nickname.
I love nicknames.
Because calling you Ellen all day is like.
It's also like.
Ellen.
I'm definitely more of an Els.
Hi, Ellen. It's like, no, what's up, Els? And you have a nickname personality.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have like the formal. No. Let me start off by saying I miss you. You are the greatest of all time. I'm saying this on camera, on and off the podcast. She's the greatest of all time. Now we can start.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm so excited you're my first guest because the birth of this.
I'm the first?
Yeah.
I feel honored.
And the birth of this podcast came about while we were working at Rituals and like spitballing and being like, how do we move on up?
Yes. Get up out of here.
I know. And it kind of happened organically because I was literally walking home one day and met Josh on the sidewalk.
Oh, wow.
And
like he was just standing outside?
Yeah, he was here outside of the studio, and he was just like, I don't know what I was doing. You're just being crazy. And then we started chatting. He was like, yeah, we have a yoga studio, podcast studio. I was like, oh my God, I'm starting a podcast.
It's fire.
Yeah.
Everything fell right into place.
I know. Okay, so I wanted to tell you a little bit what's in my picture frame here is why I called it hippie in the city is that hippie is a genderless word. So a girl's a hippie, a guy's a hippie. Gotcha. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter your skin color. Doesn't matter your age. Also, the root word hip just comes from being like doing anything hip, being cool, counterculture, anything pushing the boundaries of like what's normal, society, stuff like that. So we're redefining the term hippie. It's not just like old white people at Woodstock with the long hair, the beard, and like growing their own food and like not wearing shoes. It's like the new thing is all about altruism and about just like having a good conscious mindset, because I also think like when you and I met, like we met at work and we instantly clicked.
It was like not even a week.
Yeah. And we come from like very different places and we are interested in very different things, but it's
I was
like
you're from Kentucky? How? Are there people that live there?
Oh my God. People that don't wear shoes.
Right? And then
I keep
you're from Jersey?
I know. And it's like there's something bigger than all of these labels we all put on ourselves.
Yes.
And so that's why I'm calling it hippie, because when I was in California, everybody sort of talked more about this kind of stuff where it's just like on a soul level. Yeah. And I find since I've come to New York, people are much more focused on like, what is that thing that's stamped all over the city that says too many humans, not enough souls?
Yes.
So we're going to try to bring some soul.
Yes.
That is the purpose.
And we need it because like, especially working and living in the city and living so close to the city, it's like your day is so much planned that you don't even plan to have a good time, or you don't know how to deal with meeting new people sometimes. Like if somebody's new to the city, they don't even know how fast the city is, so they just get lost, and that builds anxiety and stuff. So
it's
I
totally true.
Understand it. I like that though, that hippie vibe. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I like
hip
that
hop, hippie. It's all the same.
It brings it all together.
Yeah.
It's not like
anything that's hip, no matter your brand of hip, means you're doing something up to date, cool.
Whoever you are.
Yeah, pushing the envelope. So that's our cornerstone. Tell me where you're from. I want to know a little bit more about Jersey. I know we've talked about it.
Yes. I was born and raised. Well, technically, I was born in Hoboken, New Jersey.
Okay.
But I was born and raised in Jersey City my entire life. One thing about Jersey City, it's very urban, especially where I'm from. It's like all the movies you see, like a New Jack City and stuff like that. It's kind of like that, but it's still soulful at the same time.
Yeah.
So it really builds character.
Mm-hmm.
And someone like me, I've always had family everywhere, like Rahway, New Jersey. New Jersey's big.
Yeah.
So you have your areas in New Jersey where it's like country Jersey and city Jersey. So I've been all over. So I kind of had the best of both worlds growing up. Like I had an aunt that lived in Rahway, New Jersey. So I would be over there seeing stuff like that. It's more suburban.
Yeah.
And then I come home and it's like all urban. So it was kind of like the best of both worlds. That's why it was so easy for me to adjust when I got to New York, because I was like, New York's so big.
Do you feel like being from like right on the cusp of the city is like weird? Is there like a battle? Is there like a dynamic?
It is a battle.
Yeah.
It's crazy because we're so close, but we're so different. It's scary, and like Jersey City is literally like 5 to 10 minutes away.
Yeah,
that's train.
It's wild.
Literally, like,
because even Brooklyn, 5 to 10 minutes in Brooklyn is totally different.
Exactly. And like there's parts of New York where it'll take them longer to get to Manhattan before me. And it's like, it's crazy how close we are.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, let's say you live in the Bronx or a certain part of Queens or something.
Yeah.
It'll take you almost an hour and a half to get to Manhattan.
Yes.
And it'll take me 10 minutes, but I'm from Jersey City, and when people hear Jersey, they're like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's a whole
far.
different vibe. Yeah.
So it was easy to adjust. I don't know. I love the fast life. I love the city. I love the people. Shut up, Siri.
She's like, don't talk to me like that, right? Derek.
Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Jesus. Siri, shut up. I'm doing a podcast.
Oh my God, this is absolutely amazing.
I thought I told. Oh my God, I gotta.
That is literally so.
She's
funny.
my wife. She's very jealous. No, but
this is like did you see the movie Her?
No, I didn't see it.
With Joaquin Phoenix?
When did that come out?
Like 8 years ago, maybe.
School me. Give me a list.
It's literally about how you can date.
Your phone.
Well, it's like another device, but yeah, you date an AI that like.
That's what it feels like. Yeah. Like sometimes I'm having a conversation in series, like that wasn't a nice word. I'm like, I gotta just.
It's actually your mom just listening in. She's like, Derek.
Right. I always think that people listen to us like 24/7 anyway. So
they are.
But yeah, coming from Jersey, it was like it was really good. Like I grew up rough. I'm not gonna lie. I grew up around like rough circumstances. My father lived in Georgia. He always made that phone call, but it was tough not having a father at home.
Yeah.
But my mom raised me to be a soldier. Like she was sergeant, friend.
What's your mom's name?
Felicia.
Tell me more about Felicia.
Oh man, what's there not to say about my mom? She's like, she gives it to you straight up. Mm-hmm. So there's no filter. One thing she always did, she always gave me love with each lesson.
Yeah.
So it's not like she just
it wasn't like tough love.
Tore me up and then that was it.
Yeah.
No, it was like, I did this because you need to understand that if I let you slide with this, when you get to bigger situations, it'll be worse. Like,
yeah.
So that was always great foundation for me. And I grew up, I'm older now, and I'm like, wow, I see what she was talking about. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's not easy to be a single mom and like work and raise a really good son or daughter with like a foundation, because sometimes you're just trying to literally survive from minute to minute. So for her to like give you that love and also really teach you big lessons is like says so much about her.
Take care of another human being.
I know.
It's like,
I'm about ready to try it.
I'm
not pregnant, y'all, but
FYI.
it's time is ticking here. Yikes.
Baby shower.
I just figured out
just
how
let me know if y'all having it in Italy or not, so I can save my money.
Oh my gosh, Derek, who do you think we are? How growing up with a single mom made you really attuned to your emotions. It's tuned to like feminism and your view on women, because you do have a really beautiful view on women. I've seen it. We haven't specifically talked about it concretely, but you're very emotional, not in a sensitive way, but just in like a very honest way. Yeah. And a very strong way. And I think men in today's world and in our society need to develop that more, because I think that's where like women's lib is great. I am a huge feminist. We all need to be empowered and move forward. But I think the next step of it is to help men redefine their role of masculinity. Yes. Because the old role doesn't fit with our new role. Yeah, it's a little harsh. But we're fighting it. Yeah. We're like, all the women are like fighting against this, you know, quote unquote toxic masculinity. But clashing. Now it's time to like just say, hey,
enough is enough.
Well, how can I help you redefine your masculinity? Because no one's saying, look, after people stopped burning their bras and went back to shaving their legs, like feminism took a different meaning. As the sexes, and there's a full spectrum, so it's not just two anymore. And I love that, and I love the way that people are communicating about it more. And I know we see it a lot in New York City, where in other parts of the country, other parts of the world, it's definitely not as normal to talk about. It's not even acceptable to talk about it. So we're lucky.
Not publicized.
Yeah, and it's like lucky that we live here where we can just like, let's just talk about it before we get all sideways, because the only way to get to understanding is to talk about stuff. Yes. And like you said, being okay to agree to disagree without being like bent out of shape is extremely important. Yes. And
it's healthy.
Yeah, it's
healthy. And growing with my mom, you literally, with it just being me and her, I watched her grow up too. So like she had me when she was 33 years old. So she was much older than a lot of my friends' moms or parents. But at the same time, she's still growing as a woman. And she would always teach me, you know, treat women like this, do this with people in general. Like, you know, just teaching me down the road, giving me little things to look out for. Like, if a woman does this, you leave. Like, certain things to look out for. So I kind of, even though it was like, I looked at it like a setback with it just being me and my mom, I also feel like I got a step ahead of a lot of people as well.
Yeah, you got like some, you know, treasured insight into the female psyche, which a lot of times when like dads take the sons and teach them more things and the mom take the daughters, and then you don't get that, you know, like one-on-one focused stuff. And that's where I think like I've always been like, I know I'm going to be a good boy mom, because I'm like, okay,
you could be real.
Let's be real. Yeah. And like, let's not do this. But I'm also like, you got to talk about how you feel, and you got to, or get it out in however you get it out, whether you're like working out, doing this, because I think that's the next step towards our evolution as souls, you know, on a journey, is to realize that like our gender and our role in society does not define us. Exactly. And if we can move past that, we can do bigger things in the world.
That's such a small part of who we are as people.
Yeah.
Because you could be a woman or a man. If you're a piece of shit, you're going to be a piece of shit. Like, there's no...
Excellent point. Like... Yeah. I love the energy of the city. You know me. I'm like a ball of energy. I'm like crazy, bebopping around. But sometimes double that, like the city and me, clashes, and I get like mad anxiety, or I just I'm working at things that feel like I'm doing more, but really I'm just keeping myself busy. Yeah. Do you know?
I fall into that too.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. Where I'm just like, I'm crazy. I'm doing this. And I'm like, wait.
What is it leading to?
It's not leading. Yeah, exactly. What is it leading to? And that's why I was like, you know, I don't want to lose that Cali mindset of like slowing down, thinking about things, like not trying to do it in 3 months. Like, okay, I'm going to try to do it in a year, in 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, let's do it, little by little. And that's part of why I started this podcast, just so that like we all can talk about that a little bit more and, create kind of like a cool community of people that are really hustling and really trying to put our art out there, but we're not going to try to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute. If I want to do this, if this is what I love, if this is my passion, then I want to do it forever.
And that's the same thing. It's funny you said that because that's the same thing with me and music because, I produce as well as write. So sometimes when I'm working on a project, I'm like, all right, I'll look at my timeline. I'm like, I haven't put a project out since then. But then I'm like, I don't want to rush because it doesn't feel genuine. And once the art gets touched, it's like, why even do it?
Yeah.
You're not going to like it. People are going to know when it's rushed. Like
they do. Feel it in 2 seconds.
You can't fool the fans. Like, they automatically know. So I'm learning to just, like, understand the process, love the process, and also work on myself because I kind of lose myself sometimes being so caught up in it, trying to produce for this person, that person. I'm just like moving too fast sometimes to where, like you said, when you crash, it's like,
it's like good night.
It's over.
Yeah, and it's like all these, the thing I'm realizing in, as I'm becoming a wife and I'm thinking about becoming a mother and I'm still have all these other things I want to keep dear to my heart, that I'm like, I can't crash like I used to crash.
Yeah.
Like, I've got too many responsibilities, not only to other people, but to myself. So I'm like, I've got to be able to sort of juggle this a little better. And that definitely requires a longer timeline.
Yes.
It definitely requires like chilling out, and also something Scott has really gotten me thinking about, and he is a fantastic entrepreneur. Like, so he thinks about the big picture, which is really good because I get really bogged down in the details.
And that's good for a support system too.
Yeah. Well, and to do it for each other because we all can do both, look at the big picture, get bogged down. And the one thing that is really helpful with him is he's like, you're creating assets. So like if you create a track, just because you don't do anything with it tomorrow or sell it or write lyrics to it or anything else, doesn't mean it wasn't worth it.
Yes.
And I get really into that. I'm like, I've had this beautiful modeling career for like 10 years. And somehow it just feels like one-offs. Like, oh, I booked that gig, I made some money. Oh, I booked that gig, I made some money. Oh, I booked that gig, I made some money. And I'm like having a hard time seeing the bigger picture of it as like a career that has started, had a great run, and it's coming to an end as I get older and I'm going to move forward into other things. And Scott is getting me to learn like, those are assets. They didn't go anywhere.
You literally just played a high school student. Like, you're going to look young forever.
Oh my gosh, forever young.
Whatever the career span is of like actresses or actors, you have like 10 more years on top.
Oh my God, I'm like a cat, the cat of acting.
You got like 20 lives.
Yeah, 20 lives. Okay. All right. So I'll take your
freak
advice.
Out.
No, I know, but we all do, right?
Yeah, all of us.
I mean, and it's like, I think that pressure we were talking about earlier with like social media, and you see people like Billie Eilish or anyone else who, Janelle Monáe, like even Lady Gaga, who like came up in the industry like almost in the blink of an eye. And you're like, what am I doing wrong? Because I feel I'm busting my ass.
Yes.
And it really is like, your time is your time.
Yeah.
Like, this is where you got to trust in God, trust in the universe, Buddha,
yes,
Allah, whatever the higher power is.
Yes.
Or in yourself. Trust in yourself that, like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I have to take my own advice on that, too, because I can feel like I'm working so hard, like we just talked about. And that makes me somehow feel better. But it's ultimately
like a picture, like you said.
Yeah, well, and it's like you said, it's like taking time away from working on yourself, which really, if you work on yourself, invest in yourself, you're prepared for all situations.
Exactly.
So it's that's a daily practice though. Sometimes I think when we talk about it.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, and we think that if we talk about it, that then we're like, oh, I'm there. Like.
And sometimes I get in a mode where I think just because my laptop is open, that means I'm working.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, what the hell am I doing?
And really, you're just like hurting your eyes with the blue light.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, I'm doing nothing. Like, just close the laptop and work on it tomorrow. Like, that's one thing. If I feel like I'm forcing something or it doesn't feel good, cut it off.
That's good.
Cut it right off.
That's excellent. You got to chill and you got to let it find you.
Worse. It's funny because last night I found this beat that I was working on. I probably had it for like a year or two. And with the new programs I have, I was able to fix it up and clean it up and change it into something different. I'm like, see, this is why they say you don't delete things you don't use, because you never know. There's so many stories where artists have had songs for like 5 or 6 years, and on that 7th or 6th year, it just number one.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't ever give up.
No,
ever.
Never. And that's where it's good to think about the value. Maybe it's not monetarily, like maybe all that stuff's not paying your bills yet, but it doesn't mean to stop doing it because it's assets, it's value. And even if it's just value because it makes you feel good, like whatever the value is, like you place it on that item and that thing, and it's making you better at the end of the day, you know? I'll have many questions, but when you are producing a track or making the track, do you have stuff you're doing for yourself? Do you have stuff that you are planning on selling for other people?
Oh, yeah. I always plan on keeping the good stuff for myself first.
Yeah.
And then give people the cross. No, but I got out of that because you can lose out on a lot of work and a lot of opportunities. I feel like if something is good, it's going to be meant for you anyway. But if it's not, like, don't stop your blessings by stopping somebody else's blessing.
Yeah.
Like, even though you feel like, oh, I would be good at this, if it would get you further to give it to somebody else, it's just mental math. Like, wow, I got in the mentality of, oh, I don't want to give my work away for free and stuff. In 2019, that's insane.
Yeah. Everything
is free. Everything is easily accessible. Like, you could go on YouTube and get a degree. Like, so why wouldn't you? And I started putting my beats on YouTube. And I literally gained 1,000 subscribers.
Amazing.
In like 3 to 4 months. Like,
well, and that's the thing is, it is changing.
It's like, insane.
What is valuable. Like, if you have subscribers, if you have an audience, you have fans, then other people, whether it's branding, advertising, other artists, people will see your stuff. It's like social clout, you know what I mean? It's like having that is really valuable these days. Like, and then it eventually will lead to something. And that's all the entrepreneurial spirit is patching together all of this, you know, making ends meet, but still putting stuff out there, like, for the bigger picture.
And sometimes the connections are more valuable than a little bit of money you could get at that moment. So, like, for instance, I have this beat on my page. It has, like, over 100,000 views on it right now. Like, insane. It literally came out of nowhere else. And somebody offered to buy it off of me for, like, $300. But they wanted the exclusive rights to it. And I'm like,
for $300?
Yeah, this is bringing, like, attention to my page.
Yeah.
So, you know what? You keep that money.
Yes.
And I'll just keep.
Smart.
Because if I would have settled for that $300, it's like you just cut the life on your own page for money you're going to spend tomorrow.
Especially if that's your, like, lifeline to getting more people. Like, definitely these days, that's way more valuable.
Keep your money.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Big picture, baby.
Yes, big picture.
Picture. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Do you also feel, I do this quite a lot, and I feel we are similar. If you think, do you feel you're wearing too many hats sometimes?
Oh my God.
When you're producing and creating stuff?
All the time.
Yeah.
Like, it really, sometimes it shatters my spirit when I'm home because I'm like, God, I gotta be my manager. I gotta be the producer. I gotta be the writer. I gotta be the artist. I gotta be the promoter. I got like you're spreading yourself out too much, and it's like, damn.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I have an issue with. Like just getting people, because of course people are gonna believe in your dream, but unless you have a team to where it's like, I am Ellen's hairstylist, I am her promoter, I am in charge of her Instagram, I am in charge of making sure people get here for the podcast, I am, you know, it's kind of hard to be good at what you're good at and good at doing the other things. It's like people always say, oh, find people. Is like, all right, let me put an ad up on Craigslist.
I know, but it is, I mean, you do have to put people in those things. And I have this, like a lot of people I know have this, where they're like, you know what? I just got to go. I just got to go. I'm going to do it myself.
Yes.
But there's so much more power in people helping you.
Yes.
And doing it together and creating a community, because that also, like, I have it here on my little thing. The more you share something, the more you get it.
Yes.
And it's like, if you are working with people, it like also inspires creativity, like all this other stuff. And at the end of the day, like I found this with managers and agents, having somebody else talk about you besides you is
greatest feeling.
But it's also, it's like they can do your stuff justice better than you can, just because it's so hard to not sound
arrogant.
Yeah,
gloating.
Arrogant, conceited. It totally.
Yes.
When you're just like being honest and like saying, this is what I've done, I would like to work with you. You know, that's an excellent thing to do, to put yourself out there, to be confident in your own abilities. Like, that's so wonderful. Yes. But to have a cheerleader or somebody who is just like doing that work, it's like peace of mind. I'm like, so take much. My 10%.
Yes.
I just thank you.
Just
I can't do it anymore.
Keep those brain cells.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore. I'm like, I used to do everything myself. I mean, literally everything myself, because I was just like, new, you know. I was new, I was young, I was like submitting myself for castings. I would have my friend take my headshots for me, like, but I would set the shot up and I would do this. I mean,
no games, because
I was thinking any money that I made I needed to keep for myself. I mean, I moved to LA with like $1,000 in my pocket, which, hey,
the goal.
Still, I mean, $1,000 in my pocket. I was like, sick.
How did you eat?
Well, I mean, I was lucky enough to find a job pretty quickly
nice.
For modeling. And it was actually a job that I worked at for like 7 years, which was great. I mean, for modeling, it's like.
Yeah. I went to school for the arts, but our acting classes wasn't good at all.
I feel like you'd be such a good actor, though.
I know I would. It was just like in high school, dance was the thing.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't really acting.
You did dance?
Yeah, I was in dance. I was in dance.
What kind of dance?
All types. Jazz, modern, ballet, hip-hop.
You did ballet?
Yeah. As a kid, yep.
Okay.
I know what positions. First position, second position.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So I did that. My mom, she would always have me in like some type of activity or summer camp.
Making you
or something.
Well-rounded.
So I went to a dance summer camp, and oh my God, they worked us.
Yeah.
Hudson Repertory, I'll never forget it. That's where I really met some of my closest friends to this day.
Amazing.
When I was like 6 or 7, we just became friends, but yeah. And it was crazy because being in the hood, you know, you like, I ain't wearing no damn leotard. Like, so I just throw the sweats on. but
you still did it.
They was like, we're not playing. Take those shoes off right now. Barefoot, everything. Like, I've been through it all.
But that is so interesting because it still shows. Yeah, but you still did it. Like, that's what I love is when people are like not letting anybody else or their circumstances get in the way of their destiny.
Yes.
And it's like, maybe dance isn't your destiny. Maybe ballet is not your destiny.
Hell no.
But you're like, you know what? Like, I'm going to be bigger than
where I am.
Yeah, where I come from and what I do. And that's always what's interested me about you and about myself. Even sometimes when I look at it, I'm like, dang, like I just did that. Like, and that's where I have to think like there's something bigger.
Much bigger than us.
Because otherwise you would just be like, yeah, this leotard is stupid because it's a leotard.
Exactly.
Like, you know, and you wouldn't do it. But there's something that draws you to stuff that's so deep that we can't even
I feel like no matter
it.
where we are, there's always going to be that light over us.
Yeah.
That just draws us to the right things and the right people. Like, even if we worked at Burger King, we'd be the best in Burger King. Like, I feel like anywhere we are, it's just like that light shines and people notice it. We may not sometimes. And like you said, like when you had different modeling gigs, you're like, oh, that was just this, that. But people see bigger than what we see at the moment. It may be things that God gives us that we think are just normal, but we have to sit back sometimes and appreciate. Like, yo, there's people that can't do this even if they tried. And it comes so easy to us. So we're like spoiled brats. Like, I want to be on TV today. And it's like, we got to understand that we're great at what we do. But I love the fact that we have that drive to always want to be. What's the next?
That's
What's
true.
next? I'm not complacent. I'm not happy. I like both ends. It's just moderation.
I do too. Yeah, I do too. That's the thing I have to remember though. Is like, because I get in this trap, and I think a lot of us do in New York City. It's like, if we're not moving 100 miles an hour, then we're gonna lose it. Like we're gonna lose that drive. We're gonna lose it. Like, and where I'm always like, oh my gosh, I have an inspiring thought. If I don't do it right now, it's going to disappear. And I'm starting to realize that's not true. Like you said, it's like it's a God-given gift that I'm able to have inspiration all the time, like attuned to these sort of like ideas in the universe. And also, I'm like a spazzy, crazy, energetic person.
Me too.
So I don't have to worry about that going anywhere. And so I've learned a little bit to like write things down if I have inspiration and be like, I'll come back to you, you know, as opposed to like being an insane person and just like switching gears, because I think that's where I found is I run myself rampant is when I switch gears. It's like we were talking about wearing too many hats. It's like if you can produce stuff really, really well. Like, do that for a minute, and then maybe the next day go write or do stuff. And maybe that's your process already, but I have to really be like diligent about that, because very quickly I can be like wearing 5 different hats at once and not realizing that I'm like doing everyone and myself a disservice by giving 20% to everyone.
To everything,
Yeah. Instead of like, let me give 110 to this one thing for a minute. Yeah. As long as you can articulate where you're coming from, your process for things, how be thoughtful, be, you know, paying attention. Those are some really, really foundational things that are going to get you far no matter what. And you're very extroverted and good with conversation and good at talking to people. And I think that's something we met in a sales job. And I think that's where we're both good at sales. And that is arguably the most important.
That's the hardest thing ever. You got to wear a smile. Like
ding, 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 ding.
Oh my God. How many times, like, when a customer leave, we'd just be like, oh.
Yeah, like, just because your face is exhausted and it looks like you're like, I think that's where retail people get a bad rap. They're like, oh, did you just see her face? It's like, oh my gosh, it's just because I was like relaxing.
I'm human. I'm sorry.
I got to go back to resting bitch face in between just because my face hurts. Nothing personal.
I feel like I'm wearing a mask. It's like pins are holding my face up.
Yeah, I know.
It's bad.
I know.
And it's not healthy. I don't think it's healthy.
But don't you think some of those, like, working retail taught me so many things about selling. And in this world, no matter what job you're in, you have to be able to sell stuff. Like, it does
Yes.
not matter.
Yes.
Whether you're selling an idea, whether you're selling a product,
Selling yourself as an actor or actress.
Actor, model,
Anything, yeah.
podcast producer,
Yes.
music producer,
Yes.
like you said, being your own manager, your own promoter. I mean, we all are doing it. And
Yes.
it's like, if you can put it in terms of, okay, in retail, the transaction is come into the store, give information, sell the product, take the money, have a good day. Bye.
Get out. Give me your money and get out.
Just give me your money, period.
That's it.
But if you can think about that transaction in a, say, 20-minute span, and then you can just stretch it out for something bigger, like selling a TV pilot or selling a track or a whole album or getting it on the radio or whatever it is, I think that mentality can help you to get there. Because my thing before I started working retail was the process of it made no sense to me. I've never had a traditional job. I've never worked in an office. Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine an office job.
I couldn't either. I couldn't either. Shit. But working in a sales job was the first time I've done like a traditional job.
Okay.
And so the amount of knowledge I learned in terms of marketing a product,
because you're behind the scenes.
Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4.
Yes.
Like, I never operated on that kind of schedule. And I think that learning from that, and that's what I'm saying, like, if you can learn from any situation you're in and really be critical about it, and it's like, okay, I don't love working in a restaurant. I don't love working in
no fast food.
Retail. I don't love working here. That's fine. But if you learn your lessons you're supposed to learn from those places, you will be so thankful, because you'll be prepared when somebody comes your way that has the opportunities you want to grab hold of. Yes. Otherwise, they'll come your way and you won't be ready, and you either won't notice they came your way. Yep. You'll be too scared.
Missed opportunity. Yep.
I've had that happen so many times to me where I just wasn't ready, didn't take an opportunity, and then I was just feeling crap about myself. Yep. Total shit. And it's like, that's not fair for me to be so hard on myself.
Yes.
Only thing to do is start learning the lessons. Yeah. Just like learn what's in front of you.
I definitely get lessons from everything I do, whether it be good or bad. And I look at, what could I have done differently? How could I have said this differently? Or how could I approach the next situation? You'll see it a mile away the next time.
But that's,
when you learn from it, you'll see it a mile away.
Yeah. And that's why I know we connected, because we would be like critically talking about this stuff and thinking about it. And I think it's really healthy.
Yes.
Because it also allows us as friends and other people to be vulnerable about the things that scare us. And if we can get over the things that scare us, we're going to be invincible.
Yes.
So it's like, talking about emotions is hard. Talking about what you did wrong is hard. Talking about, things that you don't understand, because we all like to be in a position of knowing stuff.
Yes.
It's all hard, but if you start there and you can really tackle that stuff, you're going to be unstoppable.
And sometimes it's good sometimes not to know, like you said, because if everything is good and perfect, when you finally fall, you'll lose it. You won't know how to handle it. So I always look at life like, accept your losses just as well as you accept your wins. Like, take it the same way. Like, okay, I'm gonna bounce right back. I'm gonna eat it. Just like when I didn't really know how to get into the acting, and you gave me some places to go. On the first audition I did, I felt like I gave it all, but I didn't get it because of certain little pointers they gave me. But now I know, you don't look them in the eye when you're auditioning. When he told me that, I was like, oh my God.
But it's also good that, like, you did learn that and you can go back and readjust, because nobody loves anything more than somebody who came back and took their advice.
Yes.
Like, nobody, you know, how frustrating. We're all like, okay, my best friend came and asked me for advice, and then she went and did whatever she wanted to do.
Yep.
When somebody comes back improved because of something
Polished.
you did.
Yes.
And I think that's something really an interesting point you just touched on, because taking that and being humble enough to take the advice and go back and redo it shows a lot of strength.
Yes.
I mean, it shows so much about you, because it's much easier just to be like, well, fuck that guy.
Yep.
Whereas it's like, hold on, I'm going to show you
shit.
I can do what you asked, but better.
Yes.
And that takes vulnerability, and that takes work, and that takes, you know, a level of humility where you're not being egotistical and thinking,
Yes.
you know everything.
Yes.
Because it's like, good thing you did it for a guy that owns an acting studio and not like a movie producer.
Spielberg.
You're...
I went home so happy though. Even though I didn't get it, I went home happy because I just went out and did it.
Yeah, you took a risk.
Like, I just jumped off the bridge. I was just like, I'm doing it. I don't care.
Well, don't jump off a bridge.
Not literally.
Derrick, no!
No, I didn't get it. I'm dying. I was just like, yo, I really did it. And I didn't think
And the
twice
first
about
step towards something like that, it really empowers you.
Yes.
Because up until then, it's all ideas in your head. I
Yep.
still get this way. Oh my gosh.
Fear.
So you asked about when I go into auditions, whether it's 3 people or 20 people. Auditioning is a fully separate skill set than acting in a movie.
Yes.
Like 100%.
It's one shot. You don't have takes, so stop.
No
All right,
takes. There's no other actor in the room to play off of, and that's so important. When you're on set, forget about it. You can like have chemistry. There's so much to do. There's like a playground.
Yes.
And then auditioning, you know, they're like, just do black flips standing up. And you're like, it's
Drawn from your own energy.
yeah, and that's good when you have as much energy as I have and imagination and all that stuff. But what I will say is that usually what goes hand in hand is being that raw and vulnerable enough to get the emotion out in the character means you're very empathetic. Means you take on other people's emotions. You feel them right away.
Yes.
So I've found when I go into an audition and somebody's got that bad, rotten energy, I notice it. I then go, why? I then go, is it me? I then, you know, already before I even started the audition, it's like my mind is like, boop, 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 boop.
Gotcha.
And then I want to change it. I want to make that person feel better. I want,
Soften them up a bit.
but I don't have the opportunity to do that. So what I have found that I'm working on is to notice some of that stuff and realize I'm going to maybe change it through my audition.
Yes.
Don't try to change it.
Don't try to
Put
change
a boundary
them.
up. Put an invisible, clear boundary up.
Yep.
And then go do your thing.
Yes.
Like I have to mentally create a space for myself. Like if I could bring like a chalk and some salt, like a little witch I am, and draw a circle on myself, I would. But I have to do that mentally so that then I'm like, let me play in this little space right here. Because that guy over there who's probably upset about nothing.
It would have been with anybody. It's not you.
Right, but it's very easy to like let that stuff affect
that
you.
on,
And then all of a sudden, there goes your audition.
Yep.
So I definitely, it doesn't matter if there's 3 or 20. If somebody's got bad juju, they got bad juju. But you know what? That's on them. Yeah. And but I had to learn that, especially as like a very sensitive person. And I think as a woman, like that's just,
and it
you want to
challenges
nurture.
you too.
Yeah.
It's a really good challenge.
Yeah.
To win somebody over through your audition. It's like, all right, read the lines, and then they like got their newspaper up acting like they're not looking at you or something, and you're like, well, am I good? Or they just testing to see how thick your skin is. So
That's true. That's true.
that's really exactly. And that's what's so good about the process. It's like, I feel like people that get it right then and there, sometimes they don't know how to appreciate it because they didn't go through the different steps in life to being up and down. And
what I have found in any type of business that you need to have a specific and repeatable process to be effective. So whether you are, canning fruit and putting the label on and selling it, you got to do that specifically so it's the same every time. You got to have it repeatable so that other people can do it. You can't be doing it yourself all the time. And then it has to go. And the same is true for making a track, doing anything else, that it's like, okay, you might have 10 things that are brilliant, but if you can make those 10 brilliant things, you're going to make 20 brilliant things. You're going to make 50. So if you have a process that creates this good catalog of work, and like you said, it's out there for free, so that's scary at first, but it's garnering people's attention that you don't even know, because out of that 500,000, 2,000, 100,000, there's somebody that knows what they're doing. They're watching, and they're watching you, and they're going, I just want to see if he's going to hang around. I want to see if he has it. I want to see if he can keep churning stuff out. And then I'm going to call him up. Because if you just have one thing that's really good, that's not useful to me. If you just have, and I think that's where it's good to keep inspiring others, even people that are listening, to continue to put stuff out there. And eventually it will come back.
Don't worry about the now all the time. Worry about the bigger picture, like you said. And I feel like it's good that you have someone in your corner like me. I have a lot of my friends that sometimes I call when I'm down. I'm like, yo, it's just not popping off the way I expected it to. I get down there like, bro, you're good. Just keep going. Like,
and that's the people you have to keep in your corner. If people, for anyone that's listening, if you don't have people that are lifting you up when you're down, they gotta go.
Immediately.
Goodbye. Because it's like there's a space and time to let your best friend, your sister, your brother vent. Get it out. We hate him. She's a shit. Okay. We done?
What's next?
You're good. Everything's good. Nothing changed.
Exactly.
I still love you. I'm here for you no matter what. Like, if people are not saying that when you're down, they gotta go.
And also watch the people that'll cast their fears onto you as well. Like, they can't imagine them ever doing anything close to it. So they'll try to give you that, well, honestly, in reality, it's like, whose reality?
Totally.
Yours?
Do not ever take advice from people who don't have the life that you're trying to live. If you are trying to take love advice from somebody who has been broken up with 5 times, always has drama, that's what you're going to have.
Exactly.
You take advice from somebody who's been married for 50 years, easy, happy as clams, you're good to go. Same goes with anything else. Don't take advice
from suckers.
To close this out, what you're working on, what you want people to know that are listening. If you have any plans to do like a full album or anything coming up.
Yes, I am working on an album right now. I have the title is called This Is the Thanks I Get. And I am so excited about this project. I feel like it's literally going to be like my best work.
Don't say your best work. Your best work is always ahead of you.
I know.
Up until now.
I'm just so excited because I feel like I'm tapping into a different world than I'm used to. More than half of the production is done by me. And I feel like, let me not say the best, I feel like it's the start of my best work.
Perfect.
Because like, being 25, from like 18 to 25 feels like 10 years.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I'm speaking about friendships that haven't gone right. I'm speaking about relationships that haven't. I've had time to live this thing through. So now with me putting it on music, it's like all in one. So I'm super excited about it. I just want to do it right. I'm not rushing it, but at the same time, I don't want to just sit on the music because I plan on making more music and doing more. So I'm like in between the being patient and getting it right.
That's good though. Staying in between is good.
But more than half of the actual music is finished though.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm just focused on the visuals, making sure that's right. And also building a team too. Having people in my corner that's like, I want to do this, I want to do that. So it's really a process right now. I'm in a process, but I'm super excited for it. I know you're going to love it. I know you're going to love it. Yes. I know the people going to love it too.
Yeah. And which track is about me?
It's called Ellen. Ellen the hippie.
Yeah. My big sis and all
Big
she
sis.
knows. When you put out, I have a question. When you put an album out, do you just put it on Spotify? Do you put it on iTunes? Do you put it on SoundCloud?
Everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud. My last project isn't on SoundCloud because I wanted to actually get paid for the music.
How does that work?
I put it through TuneCore, and you can sell it to different stores. So you can find it on Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, anything.
Nice.
There's like at
and then
least
you just get
40 to 50 stores they sell it through.
And then you get
you get
kickback from
compensated.
people listening to it.
Exactly.
Oh,
so if you have
amazing.
Apple Music, you could look my music up. It'll be easier.
And you're just MVP?
MVPsince94.
Okay,
Yeah.
nice.
On all social media.
And on Google Play and Amazon.
On
and all
Google
that?
Play, it's MVP, but eventually I'm gonna change it to MVP since '94 because there's a
think that's
million
kinda-
people
with
calling
MVP.
themselves probably. You don't want it to get mixed in the big.
Totally. That's what I was going to
list
ask. I was
of-
like, you were able to land MVP,
That's what I'm
but
saying. Yeah.
there's more.
I might
There's
just
more than
use
just one.
MVP since '94,
Yeah.
just so it could all be together instead of like choppy.
Yeah.
Oh, he's MVP since '94 on Instagram, but he's MVP. You don't want
I
it to
totally get that.
Distract people. So.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So
I'm gonna
MVP
change
since '94 on social media.
Yes.
And MVP on Google Play, on Amazon, on Spotify.
Yes.
Yes.
Spotify, Amazon, Google Play, everything.
Yes.